Welcome everybody to episode number 6 of Tech Shop Coffee Talk with your host, Ross and Bruce. Over to you, Ross.
Thank you, Bruce. Welcome. And everybody, we're glad you're here today. And we hope that we bring you all good value. We're going to talk today about a few things. We've got some quotes that we want to talk about. And the quotes also tie into personal development, which we think is all a crucial thing of part of everybody's day that they need to be doing, whether you're doing it for a little bit of yourself or whether you're doing it to grow your business or to grow or to help your community. So we've all got a bunch of things there to talk about. We're also going to talk a little bit about episode 5, which wasn't so great because there was a accent problem with one of the guys.
Yeah, I'd say there was definitely an accent problem there.
And if you're not sure what we're talking about, go back and catch 5 and then come back and catch 6 and see what that's about. But we're also, if we get a chance here, we're going to discuss why maybe there's an accent with one of those guys too.
For sure.
And, you know, to get us started off, I'm starting a new book, just getting started.
Nice.
Coming up backwards, but
Nice.
It's Jay Nolan's shortcut book for MLM industry.
Yep.
And one of the things in it is don't be average, and we're going to discuss that a little bit. But,
and hold on, everybody. Now, Ross and me are not getting paid to be on here and just have fun at Tech Shop Coffee Talk, but we don't sell T-shirts or anything. But if you look at the description below, there's a link to both. It says Ross's link to his site and a link to Bruce's site there. They both go to the same place, but we'd really appreciate if you buy, you know, a bag of coffee or some G-Fix or some tea or hot chocolate from us. And that will help just offset the cost of me and Ross doing this. Plus, you'll feel better. You'll love the coffee. It takes the buzz off. You know, most coffee is not good for you, but it takes the buzz off and makes you feel good. So just remember, click on the link below and support us if you would.
And don't forget to like, share, and comment. So,
and subscribe.
And subscribe. So, no, here we go with episode number 6. But starting out with don't be average. And, you know, it speaks volumes. You know, we all just, I don't know, everybody talks about, okay, if I can be average. Or, you know, if you're the middle people, you're the middle class, they're average. Everybody is in a society we've taken to the level of accepting to be average.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're looking to hang around, you know, the old famous quote of the 5 people that you hang around with, okay, you're going to be what they are.
The average of those 5 people.
The average of those 5 people. So, you know, if you're going to hang around with millionaires, you're going to be number 6 millionaire. You know.
So if you're saying if you hang around with broke people,
you're going to be broke.
They're going to keep borrowing money from you, and eventually you'll be broke too.
And yeah, and it's consistency. You know, my quote here is: success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is natural. Consequence of consistency applying basic fundamentals. And you know that applying consistency, I met a millionaire here a couple weeks ago, and you know I got the opportunity to visit about him and his story and his history, and I asked him, I said, what's your secret? And he gave me some things, and one of his secrets is don't stop moving. You know, his consistency is keep moving, keep going, keep plugging. And, you know, it's so easy to go, I'm just going to sit down and take a minute. I'm just going to sit down and eat potatoes and be the couch potato. You know, it's maybe that even though you don't want to get up and go do something, it's get up and go take that hour, 45-minute walk to clear your mind and get your exercise. You know, consistency every day.
I agree. And on that note, like I've gone through quite a bit of severe change in my life. And, you know, my life was shooken to the core, you could so to speak. But one quote I really like is by Les Brown is, if you fall on your back. If you can look up, you can get up. And that's the thing, you know, in life, we always fail, but if you learn from your failures and keep going, it's not a failure. It's just part of the learning process. You know, to get a 4-year degree in college, you don't get 100% on every paper you push in, but if you keep pushing and striving to get to the end, you will reach the success of that diploma. And
Yes.
it's like anything, but to be average, you know, we all only have 24 hours in the day. We all usually go to work. The difference between an average person and a top performer at work, you know, if you really look at their difference, it's only, you know, the top performers only put in maybe a 20-30% more energy to get to the top. The difference between an average and a top performer is not that it's not that far apart. So if you just apply yourself, push a little bit harder, you can go from average to amazing.
Yes. And, you know, going back to the don't be average, you know,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of the phrases that goes with that, you know, being typical,
Yep.
being common, and being ordinary.
Yeah.
These will not help you become millionaires. You've got to step out. You've got to be bold. You've got to be strong. You can't be ordinary. You can't be common. You got to face your fears and step forward. And that fear, that word fear is the big one. And people don't realize it's fear that stops them from doing anything they do.
Yes. Now, my understanding is the history, like Steve Jobs, when he was young, before he started computers and everything, I think he reached out to, I forget the company he reached out to and asked for a summer job, and they gave him one. I forget the computer company. He actually went to the owner, looked up the owner, called him on the phone, and said, "Can I come work for the summer? I'm into computers, blah blah blah," and they gave him a job, and that was the start of, you know, his journey into creating Apple, because he got out of his comfort zone. He picked up the phone and did something that was unordinary. He didn't
Hmm.
just throw in a resume. He
Hmm.
actually took the step, picked up the phone, and so Steve Jobs, even at a young age, he wasn't average.
Yes, yes. And you know, go back there, back up a little bit, Bruce. We spoke about Les Brown,
Yes, sir.
and Les Brown seen his vision before he started,
Yeah.
and he so much seen the vision that he knew what he wanted to do. He knew what he wanted to be, and he went. If you heard the story, he went to the radio station every day consistently because he did not want to be average like his mama,
Yeah. He had a dream, and
and he was going to fulfill that dream.
yeah. And I think he started at the radio station just cleaning floors, because he went there every Monday. He went there, just kept going there, saying, "Do you have a job for me? Do you have a job for me?" "No, we said you don't now go." And you know, after the sixth time, the manager got so upset, said, "You go
go
get me a coffee."
go get me a coffee. There you
And he
go.
said, "Yes, sir." And so if you are consistent and you push it, without getting a restraining order, you know, if you're unique and you're not average, you will stand out eventually, and you will get the job.
Yes, yes, very.
Can I tell you a personal story?
Yes, Bruce.
When I was at SAIT, taking broadcast electronics, between my first and second year, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which is the largest broadcaster in Canada, sent an engineer and a manager from Toronto to Calgary, and they came and interviewed the top 10 students, and I was one of those. I was in that ranking. Anyway, they sat down and talked to us and said, "We're looking for probably 5 students to do some summer relief work." And like they talked to one at a time. Anyway, this engineer gave me his business card, and he said, "Call me anytime." So anyway, 3 months go by, and the person with the top of the class, I was like, you know, I was up there. I wasn't the top achiever, but I was very close to the top. Anyway, the top achiever,
But you
he's
but
like,
you weren't average either.
I was not average. I
You're
was
above
working very,
average. You bet.
and I'm going to tell you the story. This put me above even a top performer. So when it came around 3 months later, I was talking to the top performer. I said, "Did you ever hear back from CBC?" He says, "No." I said, "Oh." And then he asked me, he says, "Have you ever heard back from CBC?" I said, "Well, yeah, they just offered me a job, but I've been calling them every Friday. Collect." You should have saw the guy's face.
That's bold. That's strong. That's
And
strong.
guess how many people they hired that summer?
2 or 1?
They were supposed to hire 5,
Okay.
but due to cutbacks, they only hired
1.
1. So
Cool.
that's amazing. That I was beyond. I was not being average by doing that. Now, and I was calling them collect. And this is back in the '80s where it's probably cost them $5 a pop every time I call.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
but
And
but you know what? I was getting their attention.
but that first one, I'm sure had quite a bit of fear backed up in it getting started, didn't it,
It
Bruce?
sure did. But then it's like, well, I've made it this far. I'm not quitting now.
You stepped beyond that fear level. You bet.
Yep.
That's bold. That's awesome. That is awesome. But
Yeah.
yes.
So average people do average things. Amazing people that are not average get to enjoy life to the extreme. And
You
that's
bet.
why I'm not talking with average Ross. I'm talking with amazing Ross and amazing Bruce, because we're not below average. We're way above average.
You bet. And you know what? We still got a long ways to go.
Yep.
We're just 2 guys. We're just 2 tech guys. And
Yep.
you know what? We want to help people, and that's why we're here. But
And we've got big dreams. Big
you bet.
dreams.
So
And that's where it's at.
those of you that are listening right now, do me a favor. Down below, write in your personal development book. We want to see what you're reading. We want to see what you're doing out there. Give us drop in a quote, a famous quote that you use or that you have. Drop me in your book that you're reading, or a good book that you've read, so that we can share that information to our viewers and to our subscribers that are watching us. So drop that down below and drop us a hi so we can connect out with you.
And that's the whole reason why we have this Tech Shop Coffee Talk is, 1, we talk about technical issues, but 2, we talk about stuff that's very passionate to us, and that's better development, also health, nutrition, and also a better mind. So a healthy mind, nutrition helps, but also too, feeding your mind with positive things, not hanging out with negative people all day, but trying to, like Ross is saying, surround yourself with positive people that that can encourage you to take a step up in life and do more. Because like we say, the difference between an average individual, even if you're the top achiever at your school, if you don't stick out, you're not, when the employer or the opportunity comes by, it's going to pass you by for the person who's not average. And that was my secret to getting that summer job.
That is cool, Bruce. And we talk tech, just because we are tech guys. And
Yes.
and I don't know, Bruce, but we're dealing with things every day on the tech side of things.
Yes, sir.
And with our tools and whatnot. And I manage 3 to 4 guys in the field too that are tech underneath of them. So I'm kind of first line to them.
Mm-hmm.
And tech support, and then I've got a whole tech support line up above me. So it's just there's a line I've got to go to, they've got to go to, and that's a balance. And I know that you've got that in your field too.
Yes.
We're working on a project right now that for one of the millionaires in town that we're helping him put together his shop that he's putting together, and he's doing some things that are they're things that are done, but they're not the norm, and they're not engineered, and they're not spec. So he's kind of asked us to help put that together.
Yeah.
he's one of these that comes in and, he sticks his head in and goes, okay, there's that much air flowing and we want to do this. And I'm like, okay, but what about this and this and this over here, And so we've got to throw in some of that design factor.
Yeah.
And in doing that, that's some of the tech things that we've got to do. But,
Mhm.
that all comes from past experience.
Yes, sir.
That all comes from the many, 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 many hours of study that we work to become a master at what we do. It's said in the industry that there's 14,000 hours
Yep.
to get to that master level skill. And there's another part in there. It takes 10,000 hours to master a skill and to master that. And, in schooling, it's dumbing down of people going through schooling of get
Yeah.
good
The
grade,
opposite.
go to school, get good grades, da 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 da. And I was listening to Robert Kiyosaki this week,
Yeah.
and he's got a new book out yet. I haven't read it yet, but I heard it's pretty good. It's called Fake.
Okay.
And neat book from what I hear. But he talks in some of his videos, and you can find his videos on YouTube. But he's talking about going to school as a kid, and he's asking his teachers, when are we going to learn about money? And they don't teach money in school.
Yeah.
And he tells his story about growing up poor, and they move. And when they move to the rich neighborhood. And it even comes back to him and his father of asking his father, why don't we teach me about money? And his father says it's because the government doesn't want you to know this. The government wants you to go to school, get good grades, and get a job. And they don't want you to learn how to leverage money and use money. And his comment to him, and he was like 10 at the time or 6 at the time, somewhere in there. And his father said, well, why don't you go ask your rich friends' fathers?
Mm-hmm.
He said, because they don't work for money. And that's a real huge key of they don't work for money.
Yeah. Money works for you.
Money works for you. And that's a different mindset. And like Robert says in him, and he says, when I make money and I get money, he said, I don't go buy these crazy things and buy more goods and buy more things. He said, I buy investments that make me more money. He said, I
buy assets that generate money.
Right. And he said, everything is an asset and everything is a liability. And the bank has us reversed on that. The bank's got us thinking that our liabilities are assets.
Yeah.
And our liabilities are not assets. And he's saying
The middle
invest into assets. No, we're good. Keep rolling.
Well, the middle class actually buys liabilities and think they're assets, whereas the rich buy a lot of assets, and when they become liabilities, they sell them to the middle class.
Yes. But
and the poor just they're trying to become in the middle. They're trying to pull up to the middle class. But even if you look at the middle class, a lot of the stuff they invest in are liabilities, not assets.
Yep.
And that's very disturbing. And Mr. Kawasaki is very brilliant the way he talks about that and the way we should think about our future.
Yes. And if you haven't, he's got a bunch of good personal development books and a lot of good books about money you can get out and read up on those. And
yes, sir.
And learn some things there from him. Like I say, he's phenomenal. But there's so many other good speakers too. Now,
I apologize if you're having a hard time because one of us has an accent. You can just comment below which one has the accent, and we're working on it. The more we spend together, I think one or other accent will rub off on each other, and the two, you may have a harder time figuring out who's got whose accent.
Well, let me touch base on that, Bruce. I'm gonna bring some light to it. So,
okay.
you all probably think this guy over here on my left, as you're watching it, is probably going to be your right. But anyway, he might be the one with the accent. But this other guy, at a very young age, he had a very, very, very deep voice and very raspy. At about, and I have to think back, but somewhere between age 10 and 12, I had surgery on my voice box.
Oh, wow.
And I had noids on my voice box removed. And not sure what all that is and was back then and whatnot, but I kind of look at today's society and go, that was a form of a so-called disease, like a cancer or something, in your system that we had removed. But for 2 weeks, I could not talk. I could not whisper. Whisper was worse than talking. So I had a 2-week silent, and I'm sure my mother and father were more than happy at the time, and my brothers and sisters were too. I'm sure they were loving it. But that was over a Christmas break. But ever since then, I've never had a good recording voice. So, I probably got that accent that everybody's kind of wondering, weird and whatnot. And so you take a little bit of the Northern accent. Now, to us Americans.
So Northern America accent,
well,
or Southern Canadian accent?
I'm gonna say Northern American, because I grew up in Michigan, just south of Canadian. And we had some Canucks around the area at the time. We weren't too far from it. So I'm sure there's a little bit of influence in there. But, down here, it's a what we call a Northern accent. So
the crazy thing is, in Canada, the accent, if you go east, you get a really, really strong accent. And, Toronto has a little bit of an accent. When you go west, there's less and less of an accent. It's kind of bizarre. We're east to west, you're north to south.
So that's what I grew up with. And ever since then, I've never had the greatest voice.
Yeah.
Do I wish I had a Tony Robbins voice? Do I wish I had a Les Brown or a Jim Rohn voice? That'd be awesome. Wouldn't we all just be excited to just have that great voice to work with? Well, we're not all gifted with that voice. And, so like anything, I've got to overcome. I've had to overcome one of the fear of just hearing myself, and I don't sound good. Some people say I do. Some people say I don't.
You realize what you hear inside your head is different than what you actually speak. Because what I hear inside my head, because it's resonating stuff, you hear very differently than what everybody else is hearing. It's kind of interesting.
It's just like if I decide to sing, I'm on perfect pitch, but everybody else doesn't think so. I'm sure to make the dogs howl,
Yeah. But like I say, we all have different giftings, and sometimes even the way we think, the way we appear and what we hear and what we think isn't necessarily even Ross, just your voice. I've known you forever. I didn't even know, like that. Just, I hear you, that's Ross. I don't judge you either way. That's who you are. And it's just, it's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
When I hear you talk, it's not, well, that's the sound of a millionaire talking,
That is awesome. That's awesome. And that's what we want. And we want that for everybody.
Yeah.
So don't let fear stop you.
Pick up that call and call collect.
Do we all have great things to overcome? You bet we do. 5 years ago, I would never be on a call like this talking to anybody. So, it just goes to show you, one of the things about success, it's just outside your comfort zone.
Yes, I agree.
So, what's your comfort zone? I don't want to go out and talk to somebody. I'm afraid I might say something wrong. I don't want to go down and do this because I might do it wrong. What? You just got to be bold, and you just got to go do it.
And by being bold and going and do it, you're no longer average.
Your greatest success is just outside your next no.
And that's the secret.
It is, and that's a huge secret. So, and that's where your consistency comes in. You just and your follow up.
And don't follow the masses, because they're all bankrupt and going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's a messed up economy. There's no doubt about that. And that's, that brings back to another concept about the money. And that's why we're here,
Yeah.
Bruce, in the sense of, we see the vision of a better way,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to be a part of that better way, and we want you to be a part of that better way. That's why we've teamed up to do this podcast and bring this information. We want to bring value to you, and we want to share value with you, and that will, if nothing else, will go with you and improve your life and the things that you do with other people.
And not only improve your life financially, but you got to realize the Moringa oleifera from the G-Fix, that will change your life.
You bet. You bet.
The coffee is amazing. That has such good health benefits to you. Both of those products are life-changing changes that you can make in your life. 50% of Canadians are overweight, and
Oh
the
man,
States
yes.
is about the same. And
It's more in the States.
if you don't change, if you just want to stay average, that's not good, because the healthcare system, everything, our healthcare systems are going to be swamped with people with health issues in the future. So you need to invest in yourself now, so you don't have to rely on a broken down Medicare system in the future that is dealing with all these preventable diseases that you're going to be facing in the future.
Oh, you bet. I just read an article today that the government created a epidemic of a certain disease. Okay,
Yeah.
this was an article that I read.
Yeah.
It came off of a Facebook article. So, I'm not here to say it was true, or I'm not saying it was right. It came off of Facebook, so anybody could have said it. Okay, but the comment there is the government created that disease so that the pharmaceutical could give the kids a drug to get them addicted
Yeah.
to pharmaceuticals. And it's terrible,
Yeah.
but there is good in the world. And here's an example. The company that we're working with, and I'm not going to mention the name, but if you want to find details, it's out down below. But the owner, he's been down this path a few times, and he's got a heart of gold.
Yes, he
And
does.
so much to the so that he connected with a guy 10, 15 years ago. It might even have been 20 years ago. And they sat down and had a vision of what they were going to do. And he got with this gentleman in another country. And that guy was tied into a plan of a vision that he wanted on a orphanage. And together, through this company and through the products, they support that orphanage with, at that time, had about 200 and some kids.
Wow.
They've now increased that, and they're going to be looking close here to about 2,500 kids here real quick. They've added the buildings, they've added extras and a bunch of stuff along the way. So there's been a lot going on with that, and that's just another part of the excitement of why we're here. As we're helping and doing things, he's doing things on that end of things as well. So it's a huge thing that's going on in that process, that it's just that trickle down support that is occurring.
Yes. And that's amazing. Yeah. This company not only helps you change your financial future, helps you be healthy, but they also give back and are helping a lot of misfortunate kids in orphanages. So there's it's a quality company on many, many levels.
You bet. And not only as we grow the business, there's going to be more and more of that's going to come out of this company, of
Yeah.
individuals like you and me, individuals like others that come on board with us, other individuals within the company that are going to build and grow that process in the time. So
now we didn't even touch base about, we're just talking about the healthy coffee. There's a few other facets to this company once it really gets rolling, that we're not even going to touch base on now, but it's tapping into trillions and trillions of dollars of potential industries, yearly industries that we're plugging this company.
They're going to tap into 6 megatrends.
There we go.
And those 6 megatrends are, each one of them is $1 billion industry. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I am stating this because I know the people behind it, and the people behind it are stating it. And I know that the gentleman that is stating it, everything that he says comes true. And one of his boldest comments is, this company will be the strongest, largest, and biggest company in the direct sales industry.
And we're looking forward to building a team to join me and Ross. And we'd like to help that team we'd like to help that team achieve their goals and dreams also. And that's why we're trying to attract some really quality people to work with and work together as an army to change lives together.
And that's locally and internationally as well. So, you know,
how many countries are we in right now, Ross?
We're in 49 countries right now.
Okay.
And there's more that are incoming, but right now we're just getting ready to hit the southern region, the South American area. So we're getting ready to hit that side, and we've got a lot of Spanish stuff that's come on board with that. So there's a huge thing there, and then right behind that, we're getting ready to really step into one of the Asian markets as well. We don't know the full details there yet, but that's yet to come. We'll be knowing that here shortly in the next few months. But you know, you want to be a part of that and find out. Get in now and get in early. Those that get in and stay and become a part now will be setting prime for what's to come. So, you want more details? Get back to Bruce or I. Doesn't matter, either one. You know, we'll help you either way. If you want to,
you bet.
You know, if you help one, you're helping the other. If you help me, you help him. It all works together in one deal. So wherever that fits in, reach out to us. We're happy here to help you. So, hey, Bruce, we've covered most everything tonight.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. You got any simple little things of, well, you know, I've got a what we call a zone 1 story tonight.
Okay. You bring in the closing story.
Well, you know, just to show you how true this is, and I'm not here to just flash money, okay?
Yeah.
But you know, it's so simple as I had a customer call me here this week, and ask me if I had this product and this product, two of our top products, and on hand, and I did, and because they've got a customer looking at it, so you know. Just moving the product, I made some money.
Wow.
That's just one of the 12 ways that you can make money in this industry, in this company. But you know, that's a zone 1 story. It's exciting because, you know, okay, it's one product, but they're sampling it, and I can tell you, once you try it, once you sample it, they're going to work. Now, Bruce, you've tried 4 or 5 of them, 6 of them.
Yes, sir, and they're all good. All very good.
And there's not a negative side of any of them.
Nope. And
you've had a positive side to a couple of them.
And they keep paying you. You know, when you order that, you get paid, so you can't go wrong.
No, you can't. You can't. You know, you actually make money instead of lose money.
For sure.
And that's awesome. You know, you find me a company that you can continually make money and not lose money. There's a few, but there's a few out there that eat you blind. So, but
oh yes. So on that note, Ross, I thank you for you know, taking the time every week to get on electronically with me and just let me go down this road and share our thoughts and banter back and forth. And you know, it's a really good encouragement. So there's a lot of good nuggets we are having in these talks about, you know, the power of dreaming and setting goals and you know, not being average but being above average. You know, all these nuggets of, you know, even the millionaire secrets and stuff. If people start taking action in this stuff, it can change your life.
You
But you have
bet.
to start now. You gotta make a plan, and you gotta start taking action. And it's
And
small steps daily.
you know, that plan, a lot of times those plans come from the simple things of, you know, I'm tired of the day-to-day grind.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the boss I work for. I am tired of going to work and making less money than I'm taking home. You know, I'm tired of going to work and I come home and, you know, there's that famous saying of there's too much month at the end of the money.
Yes.
You know, I'll tell you what, there is a way and there is an answer. You know, there is a way to make an extra 500 a month. There is a way to make an extra 2,000 a month. There is a way to make an extra 10,000 a month. And, you know, it's out there, and we want to help you, and we want to show you a path to that. So,
And like residual, like the movie, The Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. With
mhm,
residual, you build it and you'll keep getting paid.
over and over and over, month
Amazing,
after
amazing.
month after month until the next month. So, well, Bruce, I think we covered that well.
Yeah.
Let's come back next week and let's rejoin. Um, you know, we haven't really talked about the next subject yet, but I got a couple ideas maybe that we can touch, and we can talk about it. You know, we might talk about vision, we might talk about plans, we might talk about dreams. These are just a couple subjects that are just touching my mind process right now through some of my
Okay.
personal development.
Yep.
Um, if you got some good tidbits, or if you've got a better idea there, let's reconnect and touch out and see what we can do. So in the
Sure.
meantime, for those that are watching and that are still here, like, share,
And subscribe.
subscribe, and comment down below if you've got your favorite personal development book, whatever that may be. This is
Yes.
mine. This is mine this week. And put that in there so we know what you're reading. And if you got questions, reach out to us. With that being said, Bruce, anything else?
No, I think like I say, we covered all the bases pretty good there. And I'd just like to speak to everyone watching this, and right to the end there. Thank you very, very much for watching. We really appreciate. Please share this with your friends and family, and I hope you find value in our discussion.
You bet. And we're getting better at it. So come back again for the next one, and let's leave that, and then let's rock and roll, and let's have a good week. And let's reach out to somebody, pick them up, and bring them along. We'll see you back here next week. Have a great week.
Awesome. Thanks, Ross.
All right. Bye.